Yeah, Pasa YouTube, how's it going everybody? Got for y'all today a really fun, good, and close battle that I had against my, at times, very good friend Richard. I say at times because Richard has a tendency to run some really dumb sets and defend very dumb things, and he upsets me, but at the end of the day, he is my homie and we are good friends. Now, for those of you who don't know what this is actually a roulette battle, not a standard OU battle as it might seem. Roulette battles are where you and your opponent count up your Pokemon, then each of you choose 6 numbers, and then the number of Pokemon is what you pick. So let's say I pick the number 3. Richard will go through his box, count Pokemon until he got to number 3, and so on until the 6th number. So yeah, that's how this battle came to be. We just wanted to roulette battle. As I said, it was a really close battle actually. So he actually chose Stealth Rock Chansey as my first Pokemon, as I chose Sticky Web Galvantula for his lead. Ironically enough though, he also chose a Bisharp for my team. Now the reason why these first couple of turns are really sped up is because it's just Richard being stubborn and staying in and just thundering constantly. As I predict him, I go for the Thunder Wave and I manage to catch the incoming Breloom. This is where the battle can finally start off. I did get my Stealth Rocks up turn 1. Obviously I do not want to get put to sleep or take a possible Mach Punch, so I'm just going to make the switch into my Slowbro, because looking at his team, Slowbro is honestly the least helpful team member to me in the current moment. So I'm going to use that as my sleep fodder, and if I did have the Lumberry on my Salamence, I would have switched that in instead. So I could have kept my Slowking. I guess it isn't too big of a deal, as I predict him to go for the Bullet Seed. I'm just going to make the safe switch into my Salamence, and I really have no reason to not go for the Fire Blast, because I'm really positive that I'll be able to knock out the Galvantula if he switches it in. And if for some reason he wanted to fodder off the Breloom, I could also knock that out, as he does end up switching into the Galvantula. I was actually very worried about the fact that I could have missed, because if I'm not mistaken, Galvantula is faster than Salamence, so he could have been able to go for the Thunder, get off a good amount of damage, and even possibly paralyze me. Luckily though, my Salamence is well trained and I'm able to knock out the Galvantula as he brings in the Greninja. I really wanted to stay in right here, but I knew Salamence was just going to be way too useful to me in this battle, so I had to make the safe switch into my Chansey while I'm predicting the Ice Beam, because I could not risk Salamence. As Richard makes a nice play, he predicts that U-turns on now into his Haxorus, and looking at my team, I do have a Bisharp, but Bisharp cannot take 2 possibly Choice Banded Outrages, so I really have no choice but to just fodder off my Chansey, because I don't want to lose my Slowking, then have another one of my Pokemon put to sleep. So I bring in my Bisharp, and I just went for the Sucker Punch because I knew I could take an Outrage, so if Sucker Punch didn't knock him out, I could just Sucker Punch again. But of course, Richard gets a crit, and this was actually really huge because my Bisharp was going to be my main way to deal with his Chansey and his Aegislash, which now have become a problem. So I bring in my Mamoswine. I'm very positive Richard does not want to switch out and save his Haxorus, so I'm just going to go for the safe Ice Shard and knock out the Haxorus as he brings in the Breloom. I am an adamant natured Mamoswine, but I know from prior experience that I do not one-hit KO Breloom, so I really have no choice but to switch out, and I was really hoping he wouldn't go for the Rock Tomb. Luckily for me, he doesn't. He goes for the Mach Punch, which still does a really good amount of damage to the Pinsir if you ask me. As I go ahead and Mega Evolve, I really did not want to risk him actually having Rock Tomb, so I just go for the safe Quick Attack. This way he wouldn't be able to get off any more prior damage with the Mach Punch, on the off chance that I did manage to live another hit on a very low amount of HP. As he ends up switching into his Aegislash, I really had a feeling that Richard wouldn't go straight for the King Shield because it was way too obvious, and he doesn't. He actually ends up going for the Shadow Ball as I get off a respectable amount of damage with the Earthquake. I was actually very close to going for the Swords Dance, predicting the King Shield. Good thing I didn't, because as you saw there, Shadow Ball does entirely way too much damage to my Pinsir. As this turn he is going to end up going for the King Shield. I actually predicted him to predict me to switch out, predicting his King Shield, and that way he would stay in his offensive form and I could just knock him out with the Earthquake. But no, Richard did make the safe play. Goes for the King Shield. As the following turn, I'm going to be forced to go for the Quick Attack just to get off a bit of prior damage, which honestly is not going to end up playing a role whatsoever. At that point, my Pinsir was gone, so it didn't really matter what I went for. But now I can get a free switch into my Salamence, and if I'm able to knock out this Aegislash, I get a free Moxie boost. But knowing that, what I should have done was gone for the Dragon Claw, because there was no chance he was going to stay in, or at least gone for a Dragon Dance, because if I had done that, I would have been able to deal with this Chansey a whole lot easier. And this is where me losing my Bisharp kind of comes into play, because I would have been able to knock off this Chansey's Eviolite and then be able to finish it off with my Salamence. So I'll go for the Dragon Dance, predicting him to want to go for the Toxic, but he actually ends up going straight for the Seismitoss as I go for one final Dragon Claw. Unfortunately, I do not quite knock him out. Even if I had knocked him out, he would have just been able to bring in Aegislash and Revenge Kill me with the Shadow Sneak. So I guess it really doesn't matter, because I'm just going to be able to bring in my Mamoswine, knock out this Chansey, and at this point it's 2-2, and it's really not looking good for me, because I'm down to my Sleeping Slowking and my Mamoswine. So my only chance to win at this point was for Richard to somehow misclick and click like Secret Sword or Shadow Ball, but he's not Andy. He ends up clicking the correct move, which is the Shadow Seed, because he's able to break my Focus Sash, which means his Greninja will be able to come in, knock me out with the Surf or Hydro Pump. And as I said, my Slowking is sleeping, and even if I manage to wake up with my Slowking, I have no super effective move to hit this Greninja with. So at this point the battle is basically over, and it's going to be the 1-0 victory in Richard's favor. So yeah, as I said, just a really fun, close battle. And before anybody closes out the video, I actually want to try something new, something I've never actually done before. I want us to set a like goal. I want us to get 300 likes on this video. I say we because this channel is as much a part of you guys as it is mine, because without your support I wouldn't be uploading, and by clicking the like button it does really help my channel grow. It is just a second of your time. So as I said, could we please reach 300 likes? If we do reach 300 likes, I will definitely try to upload another video tomorrow. And yeah, just thank you everybody who does leave a like. Make sure to leave a comment as well if you want to. Enjoy the rest of your night and or day. If you missed any of my previous 2 uploads, they are playing on your screen right now, so make sure to go check them out. And with that guys, I will see you all soon. So later everybody.